Neil Totton here, New York City superhuman trainer. What's going on, y'all? What's up, Wasidah?
Nothing much. How you been? We haven't seen you since summer, right?
Since summer.
And you're still looking good, and I'm still looking good.
Exactly.
We're hanging in, right?
Exactly.
We're hanging in. Made it past those holidays.
Yes.
Today, guys, we want to talk a little bit about how we got started off. In particular, Neil, I've always wanted to know how you stay so ripped and how you get in the game in the beginning.
All right, so let's see. I'll start with how I got in the game because the ripped is not. I'm not as ripped as whatever. Okay, thank you. That's a compliment. So my background is I was a dancer. I've always been a mover since I was a little kid. And then when I got into college, one of my teachers was getting trained in the Stop Pilates method. So then I started to, she picked 7 of us to learn. This was like way back before Pilates had its second boom. So this is like going back to like the late 90s, early 2000. So then I did that, and then I ended up going to school in London for a little bit to study ballet and dance, and I ended up getting a side part-time job teaching Pilates at a studio there, and that was always kind of one of those things that fitness kind of always served as an extension of my dancing and made my dancing better. And then as I started to get older and started to perform and was looking for something that was a little bit more stable, because you know when you're auditioning and dancing and you know there's ups and downs,
course,
and sometimes
yes.
you need to keep those bills paid,
Bills paid,
money
yes.
coming in.
Yes.
So then I started to substitute for one of my mentors who danced with Alvin Ailey and has taught there and is just like, you know, a legend within that community. Her name is Wasidah. And she ended up getting me a job teaching Ailey for her when she would be away, and then people started liking the class, and then one thing led to another, and before you knew it, I was working at a couple of different boutique studios here in the city, still kind of keeping my Pilates going, and then sort of learning different methods, whether it be bar or rowing, and I'd always worked out when I was a dancer. And then before you knew it, I was able to sort of combine all of those different sort of, you know, methods and sort of modalities, put it all together, and then created my own method, which is called Totton Body Lab, and that launched in 2015. Yeah. So we've been doing that, and ever since then it's been kind of an upward ascension, and I've also been really, really fortunate that New York has shown me a lot of love since doing that, because in 2015 I also was picked by New York Magazine as one of their superhuman trainees. So that was also like a really awesome thing that kind of helped up the ante and gave me, I think, the encouragement to do it. To keep moving and sort of saying like, people are recognizing it. Now, as far as how do I stay so ripped, I work out like 2 to 3 times a week with a partner.
Wait a minute, that's it?
Well, I mean, I'm getting there.
I'm getting jealous. I was jealous for a moment.
Okay, but hang on now. Jealousy, don't let the green monster come out yet. But she might, because I actually because I'm getting older, and like the way that my body sort of handles stress is that I actually only do work out with weights a couple times a week. I'm a big believer in walking and just really kind of being active. I also do a lot of sort of Eastern philosophy or Eastern movement traditions, Tai Chi, sort of Falun Gong, different things like that. And the biggest thing for me now is just really what I eat, because, you know,
that was my next question. How do you eat?
Well, I eat like a little bird. My mom always called me like a grazer. So I'm not a big fan of sitting and like having a huge meal and just getting full and then being like, oh no. So I hate that feeling. So I typically will just eat a little bit, like probably like a deck of cards size piece of salmon and then like some kale. That's what I had for dinner.
How many times a day do you eat? Because I know I eat 5.
I probably eat, I would say, somewhere between like 5 and 6 small meals a day. It's one of those things where, again, my particular body type is one that I don't really necessarily need a lot of fuel to kind of go.
Keep going.
Yeah.
And I want to just check on that for a second. That's very important. I always say that to you guys. Knowing your body type. Everybody's body is very different.
Yeah.
I eat red meat and tons of protein because I need it.
Yeah.
But as I've gotten older, sometimes I have to switch it up a little bit. Like dairy and I no longer rock out. We used to be okay in my 20s and my 30s. Not so good, but it's very important that you know your body and how to eat.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's kind of so again, getting back to my routine for me, and this is what I always have to even stress with even clients and different people that I teach is that everybody's process is different. Most people are, and I'm so grateful that I'm able to sort of be that sort of marker that people are trying to move towards. But I'm already kind of at my ideal set point. Like for me, and I've told my family this since I was probably like in my 20s. I was like, my goal is to look like this when I'm 60.
Yeah.
So the bigger thing is that as long I'm in what I would call like maintenance mode. But if you're say just starting off, then your journey, your sort of process is going to be something different as far as in the things you have to start adapting. And it is a lifestyle adaptation. If you've always been active and sort of always sort of, you know, eating a certain kind of way and you struggle with your weight, then that's one thing that then I would say you have to go and do a little bit more due diligence on like sort of what might be the thing, because it could be, you know, you're small and sort of like eating the right way, but you're a basket case when it comes to like keeping your mind calm and sort of stressing out.
That's another thing. I know you do a lot of work with that as well. How do you keep your mind calm? I think that's very important. Dancers and yogis have amazing bodies.
Yes.
And I always look at it and think, they're not sweating, they're not killing us. They always have amazing bodies because it's a mental thing.
It is a mental thing. And my mental outlook, that practice also dates back to sort of when I was learning Pilates. It's, you know, growing up, and not to get too involved in my life story, but, you know, being black, gay, born in the Midwest, if you want any chance of making it out of those circumstances, you kind of have to really look beyond your current circumstances and sort of find that elevated perspective. So I was very fortunate where my mom, shout out to Mom Annette, you know, kind of gave me like some really good books to read, and she would always sort of like give me a lot of food for thought, and that has served me well even up until now. Yeah, as far as just, you know, and I've always been kind of, I would think, when I was younger, more like sort of over, like more type A as far as in the sense of like, I have to be a dancer by this age, I have to do this by this age. And as I've gotten older, I'm still very focused on the things I want to do.
But you do more of a flow.
I do more of a flow,
Yes.
yeah, because even just within the times that we're living in right now, I mean, you know, there was a shooting this afternoon,
I know,
like, you know,
God,
like
yes.
there's just so much stuff that is going on in the world that is beyond my control.
And this is just me. I feel like working for yourself makes you grab a sense of stillness.
Yeah.
Because you've got to be still when the clients come, when they don't come, when the class is canceled, when it's good and it's bad.
Yes.
You have to have a sense of, I got this.
Yes.
Maybe a rough water, but I'm
Yes.
still swimming.
Yes.
I'm still above the
Yes.
water.
Yes.
And that is something
Yes.
I know for me, I didn't get to later.
Yeah, no, yeah.
I wish my mom would have gave me books. She was
Yeah.
like, work at the post office, just do that, retire early, that's what you need to do.
Yes.
So I found that later on in life,
Mhm.
yoga and meditating and just really seeing how the universe blessed me.
Mhm.
Each time I thought I was going to go under, I was still on top.
Correct. And I would say the other thing as far as going to the mental outlook, and this is something that I'm very passionate about, because let me not sit here and make any of, you know, Wasidah's, you know, followers and, you know, crew and network think that, you know, like I have it all together, because I'm going to just switch my seat. Because, you know, I had like my own little sort of like mental breakdown, like, you know, this past year, and I do everything that I've just explained to you. Like I meditate, I, you know, sort of eat right, I exercise, I do all those things. But this is something that even within the black community, but also at large, because, you know, all communities and a lot of people suffer from trauma
Of course.
and sort of like mental hardwiring, things that we've been given growing up, that we sort of don't realize, like, why is it, you know, sort of like, why am I reacting this way
But
to
I feel
something?
like, as a community, I feel like black people almost feel like, hey, push past it. That makes
Exactly.
you stronger.
Exactly.
Don't deal with it, push past
Exactly.
it.
Exactly.
And so we just end up bottled up.
Correct. Because
Yes.
most of the time, our community is more in what I call survival mode.
Yes, that's
So we're
exactly.
just really trying to get the bills paid, get the kids, you know, get to church, make sure that just everything is just going. And then eventually what starts to happen, at least once you start to really live in, I would say, a space of like abundance and sort of like really being like, okay, I'm doing a little bit better than surviving. You know, I'm thriving. I'm not necessarily living like, you know, the richest man in the world, but I got what I need. And this is something that I mean, this can be on a $10,000 salary. I mean, you know, it's like, so it's relative. But once you get to that place, things from your past, or you're just sort of like, the body does keep.
Respond,
yeah, the body keeps that sort of like that trauma. Like, you know, the brain is basically imprinting every little experience that happens. And so
from a child on up. And what's funny is that I find it's very hard to pull away from your friends and family that don't understand. Just saying, life is really rough right now. I'm feeling something. Because what they're still on the outside is, you look great, you're in a great career, but you're feeling something on the inside that is not connected.
Correct.
And so sometimes then you got to step outside your circle. You can still keep them, but you need to rebuild and kind of something is going on, and I need to handle this.
Exactly. And a lot of people, that's so like brilliant what you just said. And when you're at that place, it's actually, you have to go to it. You have to go towards whatever that sort of voice that's telling you, like, I got something that's a little bit off. Because for me, like, I knew, and I like everyone around me, like, kind of perceived and could see that something was off because my behavior, this is going back to like the mental stuff. And I really, again, I'm not embarrassed about this because it's something that, you know, having been in like a mental institution where I was like, okay, I know that this isn't where I'm supposed to be at, but being able to see like what people are really going through made me so much more empathetic and so much more aware, being like, hey, we got to start talking about this. Men especially, like,
I was going to say, especially the black men. I think as women we complain like, he doesn't get me, he never listens. We don't teach black boys how to communicate and how to express their feelings. And
not even black boys, men.
Men in general. You know, for a perfect example, when a little boy falls down, what do women say?
Man up.
Man up, don't cry. And later on in life, they do the same thing.
Yeah. So then you have people then getting to a certain age and running for, you know, a office.
Hello.
You know,
on the couch and,
right, and you know, but it's one of those things where if, you know, manning up is good in certain regards, and also because men are in business, you don't really bring a lot of emotion into business, but at the same time, those things get repressed and they get in the body, and then that's why you see a lot of successful people that are not in great shape, because they stored all that stress and stored all that stuff. And most people have to die or like get severely sick or injured, or something really bad has to happen before they're like, oh, okay, let me open up this Pandora's box. And so I would say, again, going back to what I said for myself, was that I could feel that something was off, and I was like, okay, I didn't know what this was, but it was like a part of my brain was just like deactivated, and I was just like on autopilot, and only until like the whole thing played out, and then having like been a part of it, seen it, and then being able to look back, I was like, oh, that's what that feeling was. That was that thing. So for me, I'm a big believer that, you know, first and foremost, you know, if I were to give you the Neil prescription, is like, get your mind, first you have to get your mind set to be healthy and to live a healthy lifestyle. Love yourself, appreciate yourself, and the loving yourself is actually a process as well. Like a friend of mine, he, you know, pointed this out, and it's Whitney Houston's, you know, greatest love of all. Like, it's learning to love yourself. It's not you wake up and you know how to love yourself, just like you don't wake up and learn how to, you know, speak a different language, or how to coordinate fierce outfits, you know. Or some people just have that, you know, just
born
naturally,
like that,
right? Born that way. But, you know, you have to sort of appreciate and love and be committed to wanting the healthiest version of yourself. But know that once you start that journey, the stuff that's not healthy that's within you or that's going on is going to start to come out, and you're going to have to start to deal with it. But if you stay with those tenets and just know that, like, you will see through it, and this goes back to the thing about manning up, is it's like,
or womaning up.
Or womaning up,
and I just want to say, I'm a big believer in checking in with the counselor too. That is like a yearly let's just lay the cards on the table. What happened this year? How did I deal with that? And then pull back together.
Exactly.
That to me means you're at level A. Because you realize, let me deal with this. Oprah's still working on Oprah. So Wasidah can still work on Wasidah.
Exactly. And as long as you are alive, you're still going to be a work in progress. I mean, you know, because a lot of people get in this trap of thinking, when I get to point A, or when I lose the weight, oh, I'm gonna be so happy and everybody's gonna be hollering at me, da 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 da. And this